Hey, thanks for watching. This is another fun video. Before I get into it, I want to stop and say thanks to someone who deserves thanks and whom I often forget to thank. And without him, I wouldn't get to do all this awesome fun filming, planning, equipment preparing, and hunting. To God, my creator, and the creator of all these awesome critters, thank you. And here we go. This video is about remembering your gear and having your gear prepared. We're down here at our new property to manage, 200 acres of awesome deer and hog territory. While we're working on the property, we take a few breaks at night to chase the hogs in the neighboring farmers' fields. Now, I met up with this guy, jumped in his buggy, and away we went. I did the quick checklist, not the thorough checklist. I forgot ear protection, which wasn't a big deal because we were hunting in a cotton field. A couple little pieces of cotton, in there, we're good to go. I get out there, turn the thermal on, boom, I see hogs, and I see this. A dead battery. We didn't want to go back. We went out there. As you'll see here, into the shooting, right before we start to shoot, the battery turns red, and after the first shot, boom, it's done. Little did I know, after the shooting, while the eyepiece was gray, the camera kept working. It's just that I couldn't see a display through the scope. Had I pulled the DVR out of my pocket, which I was recording to, I could have seen the filming. Anyway, interesting stuff.
When the scope powers off, this is what you see. Next you see this, a blank turned off scope. Little did I know it was actually recording, as you can see here. I didn't know this until later when I reviewed the tape. I just happened to point the gun in the direction of these pigs here in a second because thanks to the moonlight I could see them and see that they were real close. That's these right here. Okay, so here we are later that night. We have new batteries in the scope. Got some hogs. Right now we're stalking up closer to them. Checking to make sure everything's good. Stalking a little bit closer. Now look at that hog looking at me. I know that's not good. I set the shooting stick up. They take off. By the time I get ready, about to pull the trigger, that one moves. Man, all the gear was cooperating, but the shooting was not so good.
Okay, I am so sorry for not showing you this next piece of footage because it really ties the story in. Let me explain it to you. Later on that night, I had gone over to a friend's property. We didn't see anything. I came back. My batteries were pretty fresh, I thought. I pulled up to the pivot system, irrigation system in the field, and I wait, and it's still light out. The hogs come right out of the woods, 35 yards in front of my truck. A couple of them kind of look in my direction, figure it's farm equipment, start hightailing it out into the field. I had been mostly prepared with most of the gear plugged in, so I ease out of the door, get to the irrigation tire, prop the gun up, I hit record, bam, first hog down. They start running, I lead the next one by about that far in front of the nose. Same story again. The image of the scope appears, blank screen. Now it's daylight, so I lift my head, I see the other pigs running away, and I run it. I mean, 100-yard dash. I catch up to that second hog I hit, because I hit him right there. Broke the spine, he was down, but he was going for the woods, and finished him off.
If you could have seen the video, you'd see that the reticle was about a foot in front of its head. The bullet hit right in front of its ham. That's about 3 feet behind the reticle, which the math would have agreed with. It's amazing how far you have to lead these guys sometime. It takes a lot of experience and practice to get the lead down, and even the best don't do it perfect every time. The distance the hog is away from you, their speed, the angle at which they're quartering away from you, and of course the velocity of the bullet at Muzzle and at the distance that the hog is at all must be incorporated.
Alright, so after that I assumed the batteries just went dead again. I didn't realize that wasn't the case until a few days later when I reviewed the film and saw that the battery power was just fine. After talking to ATN about the scope, they thought that there's a good chance. The problem was that I had not screwed the case on the batteries tight enough. I'm pretty sure they're right because I've been shooting it in the range a lot since, and the videos you're about to see are all taken after that point. Never had a single glitch, recording beautifully, shooting beautifully. That is when I'm shooting accurately.
So here we are, stalking out, next trip down to hunt. Batteries are fresh, cap is screwed on tight. Earphones are on the head. All systems are go. Now we get out by these guys. I happen to notice that this one hog decides to stare at us, which I know is not a good sign. I walk as fast as I can to my buddy to tell him we need to shoot now. By the time I get back to my shooting stick, get the gun on it and look up, here's what I see. So I begin to shoot. My buddy never gets a shot off, but we can hear about 5 or so shots of mine hitting flesh. That hog was a 180-pound plus boar. He was a nice one. And this is a good chance to help people understand that that nerve activity that you saw there was just that. A lot of times folks comment and think that the animal's kicking and suffering. Look at that shot right behind the eyeball. It was right through the brain, destroyed it, instant death. After that shot, of course, the shot prior was in the rear end and didn't kill it. But the pressure blew the eyeball out. You may have noticed that more than one hog appeared to have been shot well based on the reticle placement. When we were there, we could hear the bullet impact on a lot of these. It wasn't until the next day, however, we discovered these two, a large boar down in the woods and that sow over the hill. Alright, later that night we see this lone boar, and we stalk up to him underneath the irrigation system and then get set up for the shot. I believe this hole above its eye is the exit hole from the final shot. Here I am skinning it out and quartering it. That shot on the shoulder was the one that put it down. The mangled meat on that ham to the right of the picture is the result of the second shot, which if you review the film you can see caused it to limp pretty severely. This sequence is probably my favorite of the couple hunts we're filming. When I got to this field, this hog was directly downwind, and I instantly decided to just pursue it quickly on foot so that when it smelled me, which it inevitably would, I would have covered some ground and gotten a closer shot. So I tried to keep my scope on him so I could see when he bolted. I had my shooting stick ready, and real soon here you'll see he catches wind and takes off. I then plant the shooting stick and start to shoot. There is a lot of field left. Unfortunately, it's standing cotton stalks, and I can't shoot anymore. A couple shots sounded good, like a hit, but there's no way for me to tell that night. So here we are in the daytime the next day. The farmer has cut down the cotton stalks. The pig started there, ran that way, and I shot right about there's where the cotton stalks started. They have now been mowed down. And look at that pile of birds. They're vultures. What do you suppose they're eating? This was a nice boar. He's pushing the 200-pound mark. Here's my size 13 foot for a little bit of scale. Here's what that finishing off shot did to that hog. Now check out the rear right leg of that hog. That was broke, I think the third from last shot, and in its mid-abdomen, that was the second to last shot that essentially dropped it. And here is that first hog that was shot, the standing still shot, through the heart no doubt. That's it for the hunt, but before we go, check out some of this trail cam footage from just the last few weeks at the new property.